Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, aka Uncle Tex, aka Professor Tex. Smash that like button before we get started. Subscribe to the page. Any questions, concerns, want to debate, whatever, what have you, leave your comments down below. We can get at it. Let's jump into this right now. San Francisco fans, would y'all please stop it? Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Here we go again. Y'all about to run Jimmy Garoppolo out of town. He starts winning some games. Then he gets hurt. Probably going to miss the whole season. Going to get rid of him anyway. You got Trey Lance, who got hurt basically in the second game of the season. Second or third game of the season, I believe. He gets hurt. He's out. He's out. Bring Jimmy G in. Jimmy G's winning and whatnot. Then he gets hurt. Now Brock Purdy's won a couple of games and whatnot. Now all of a sudden, I see this title. It's Brock Purdy, the best Mr. Irrelevant of all time. A history of final picks in the NFL draft. Oh, I don't really care about that. Brock Purdy had a decent career over there in the Big 12, even though they are pretty decent. At an average about winning 8 games a year, basically 8-3, 8-4, around 8-4. Probably is pretty much his average. 276 seasons, 1-9-3. He had something else. I can't remember what it was, but that's basically what he had. He's won 2 games, or a game, I should say, and whatnot. And here you have someone who, with what he's doing, I'm gonna look this up real quick. All this Iowa State stuff. 1-0, 461 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Their defensive running game is pretty much carrying this. Christian McCaffrey is doing pretty decent and whatnot. And here we go with this. What is it? Second coming of Joe Montana? What actually has he done? What happens if he loses tonight? Then what? Because they don't really have no tape on him even doing anything. And they're going to see as time goes on, really what type of quarterback he is and why he was taken basically in the, if I'm not mistaken, in the 7th round. It's not about taking anything from the kid, but one of the things that pisses me off the most is the fact that all of this that he's doing for 2 games, and it's a pot down, it's like, it's like, is there going to be a controversy? A controversy based upon what? For him doing what? I mean, let's stop it. Let's stop it. It's so funny because if I go here as a Cowboys fan, if I go here with, I'm not even talking about what Dak Prescott did his first year, playing 16 games, going 13-3, 3,667 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 4 picks. Right? You look at his stats. Does Dak need? Yes. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I saw a Cowboys fan, somewhere, I think it was on Twitter, where he was literally saying that, okay, well, what else does he need? If Tony Romo had all that, Tony Romo had an 1,800-yard rusher. He had 2 Pro Bowl running backs. Marion Barber was there as well. And then later on, he would have, what's my man's name? Oh, shit, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he rushed for over 18, right at 1,800 yards. He has actually the record for Dallas over Emmett, actually, for in a year for them and whatnot. That come to me in a minute. Check it out later. But for those that know it, leave it down in the comments. But I can't think of it right now. I'll look it up. And so you got someone that did that. And Dak Prescott doesn't even get this kind of press. And Dak Prescott right now is 59-34 and whatnot, 23,930 yards, 157 touchdowns, 59 picks, and about 6 years of playing. 7 years. He did get hurt. He missed about 11 games. He missed 11 games in 2020 when he was balling out pretty damn good and whatnot. Was talk about MVP and all that stuff, which I don't get caught up in all that stuff because it really doesn't matter until after you play all the games. Now, why didn't he get the press? Does Dak have to win? Yes. Because the same thing with Tony Romo. If you're a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the main things you have to do, you have to win. Don Meredith did it. Craig Morton did it. Roger Staubach obviously did it. Troy Aikman did it. Them guys did it and whatnot. So yes, does he have to win? Yes. But he has been a solid and a Pro Bowl quarterback a couple of times in his career. What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? Let's just do this for shits and giggles. Last year they won 11-5, 4,449 yards. Every year he's gotten better. Unfortunately, got hurt this year, but he got hurt early this year and whatnot. He's so far 6-2. His picks, yeah, his picks are up and whatnot a little bit, but who knows what will happen going forward and whatnot. Where's the love? There is no love. Jalen Hurts is basically in his third year. Came in 2020, started the last 4 games of the season. Let's look up Jalen Hurts for shits and giggles. Right? Shits and giggles. Just look up Jalen Hurts. And I'm doing this for a reason. Because they talk about this. And Jalen Hurts, let me see. He was 1-3. 1,061 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. Let's see. Rushing, 63 for 354, 3 touchdowns, and whatnot. They were saying he was basically on the hot seat last year, and they still got to the playoffs. Now look at him; he's an MVP candidate, and it's basically a race between him and Mahomes. I kind of feel who's going to win that one, but we'll see what happens. Being that it's a quarterback award anyway. I've already spoke about this. So no love though, no love whatsoever. But look at what he's doing. But yet Brock Purdy, as they were saying, and girls are going crazy, this, that, and there, and all this kind of stuff is going on. And I'm like, based upon what? On 2 games? They don't really have no film on this guy. Yeah, they had a couple things here and there, but it's like that's from college and whatnot. What he can do good, in due time we'll see. It's all good when your defense is playing good and stuff like that. But now even he barely played because he got hurt, his oblique or whatever like that. So this is what I'm talking about. A rush for a quarterback. Is he going to even do what Steve Bono does, the same number that Steve Bono actually wore back in the day? So it's like, so my thing of it is this here. Is like, so what is he going to do? What happens if he loses tonight? Then what? So it's a quarterback controversy between now him and Trey Lance because, of course, Garoppolo is probably done in San Francisco. He's probably done, more than likely. And so with him being done, they're going to have to deal with the situation at hand. But Brock Purdy, I mean, let's say run the gambit, win the Super Bowl and stuff like that, then we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to really happen in this situation. But I see the favoritism. And this is what I'm talking about. These other guys has put in work. And these guys put in work in the SEC. Dak, as well as Jalen Rose. And whatnot. Dak has put in considerable work as a pro football player. And it's been very successful. Does he need to win? I will emphasize that, yes, he has to win some playoff games. He has to win the big one. There really is no excuse. I'll be the first to say that. But he's not a bum. But I realize that it's like, so what Brock Purdy has just done in 2 games, and I already read you the stats. What's the problem? I don't see Dak getting that love. I don't see Jalen Hurts getting that love. I don't see it. And so I have a problem with that, which goes back to what I talked about last night. I talked about before. Black quarterbacks have to go through this whole thing where they have to be literally perfect, where these other guys don't have to be. And so, having said that, we will see what happens tonight. San Francisco defense is nasty. Their running game is decent. They got players and whatnot, the whole 9 yards. But we will see what will happen with them in this game and for the last 4 or 5 remaining games of the season and going into the playoffs. So I think it's kind of sad that this still happens. But I see the media coverage and I see how they speak about them. Like I said, last year with Jalen Hurts, it was this whole thing where he got to get it done because they got rid of Carson Wentz. He took over Carson Wentz 2020 as the last 4 games of the season and did pretty decent. So last year was like his rookie year, and this is like his second year starting, right, with a minimum of over 10 games played. Purdy is played in 2 games. What are we talking about? 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. You got a veteran running back by committee and whatnot. You got some weapons and whatnot. Number 11, you got Deebo Samuel, who's actually hurt, who may miss the remainder of the season. He may come back later on in the playoffs. Stop it. I don't think Jeff Garcia got this much press. And Jeff Garcia was a fine quarterback. You had Steve Young, you had Joe Montana. You had all these different guys that played quarterback, and these guys get this type of press. Then when you throw in the black quarterback, it's like nobody says anything about this. Nobody. And all they do is talk shit about Dak all the time. And like I said, we'll see what he does. Now they're getting ready to, like I said, run Jimmy Garoppolo out of town. And another fine quarterback. But at the same time, he didn't win the big one. Had an opportunity. It failed against Mahomes, obviously. And that's what happened. But this is what I'm talking about, man. And it needs to stop. But I'm calling it out. They can do whatever they want to because the press is going to do whatever they want to. I'm just calling this out the way I see it now and whatnot. Give the same love that you're giving him to a quarterback who bust his ass in harder conferences in college, bust their ass to get drafted where they got drafted at and whatnot, and end up being solid quarterbacks in the league. That's what I'm talking about. We move on. Let's move on to I want to say to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill made some statements. He's on the Shannon Sharp show on the YouTube channel. And it's funny because he talked about how he did not get the ball that much, 3 and 4 targets, which is one of the reasons why he said he left. Now, Tyrese was basically a kick returner type guy when he kind of came in the league. He turned himself into one of the finest receivers in the league and whatnot. Having a hell of a season, 100 balls already, 1460, 6 touchdowns, and he's balling. Well, let's go up to that. I'm not. What do you want? Did you call last year? You in the season that pissed you off, 111 catches, 1,239 yards, 9 touchdowns. What else you want, dude? What else you want? I'm trying to figure out what else is it that you want from them? What else do you need from that when you're getting all this production and a ring and constantly winning? Dolphins lost last week. They're doing a lot better than what you thought they were going to do this year. Yes. Him, Percy Waddle, all them guys. And this is and another thing about players like this. I really get ticked off about this because this guy's a hell of a player. 6-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All Pro, Super Bowl champ, uh, All Decade team for 2010. A lot of that was based kind of like semi-based on kick return, kick and punt return. So, in essence, what else do you want? What else? He said he had to get out of there. I'm like, you got Mahomes? It's no take from Tua Tagovailoa. But dude, Mahomes, and you're still putting up numbers. So what are we talking about here, man? What are we talking about? And this, and I don't know. I don't want to say it's selfish. I'm like, I'm all about these guys getting their bread, but to start ragging on the team where you just left it had 111 catches. G. Mo Lees, man, you got to probably going to be one of the top 5 tight ends that ever played the game when it's all over said and done. Kelsey is a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer, bar none. He's doing things that no other tight end has ever done. So you're gonna have to share that. So y'all both gonna probably have over 200 something like catches. What is it else that you want? I don't know, man. I don't know. These new generation, Gen Xers or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's sad that you see this dynamic going on in the NFL, and these guys are able to get kind of somewhat get away with this and say the things that they're saying and do the things that they're doing. And there's nowhere in the world that Tyreek Hill, if you wanted more money, say that. But trying to sit up there and say you wasn't getting the ball, dude, you were getting the ball. Stop it. Cut the crap. Cut the crap. Or cut the cap, whatever, however the youngest talk nowadays. But cut it out. Because you got a lot of stuff that you didn't have before. But Tyreek Hill, he's a bad dude. He's nice. He's like that. You got to give him that. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. But to say you wasn't getting the ball when you had over 100 balls that you caught is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I really hate that and whatnot. But again, back to Brock Purdy. What has he done? And why do you give him that amount of props when he hasn't even started 10 football games? If y'all don't see that, 49ers fans, with what you did with Colin Kaepernick, I forgot to mention him. There's been 5 quarterbacks that come through that franchise. Who's going to be this? Who's going to be the next? Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that? Nah, just win the games out, man. If you're going to win, right? But at the same time, this is why I make shows like this. I see things that they don't want to seem like they don't talk about on these other shows. This is why I talk the way that I talk. I don't try to make it a race thing. They put it right in your fucking face every freaking time. Every time. But Dak Prescott is a bum. He's done just about, if not more than that of Tony Romo as far as yards and all that other kind of stuff coming in there, even down to the wins. They're basically equal. He still has a lot of football left. He got a big contract. You expect him to, yes. I want him to win. They need to win. They have to. This is their window. But treat him the same way. If you're going to do press on these guys like that, you got to do press on the other guy because you did not do that same type of press on guys like that, but you do it on this guy here. It makes me think that you don't want to see those other quarterbacks succeed. Like I tell you guys all the time, numbers don't. There is no GOAT. There's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And like I say all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. You guys enjoy the game. I'm about to turn it on here in a second here. And you guys have a good one and whatnot. And we'll get back to you guys later. You guys have a good one.